Si umeona vile amekonda? Mpaka masikio inafanya nini? Na bado
nyinyi mmekula mpaka tumbo karibu inapasuka.
Mimi sikuli kwa bibi yako.
You cold-blooded murderer. Heartless character.
wewe muongo. Wewe mwizi. Wewe kasongo.
Wewe mzee, wewe nitakuvua nguo.
Ile Ruto ameanza kupura, zingine anapatia ile mtu anaongea.
Nani akose besi?
Analia kama panya imeshikwa na mtego.
Huyu mtu ni mgonjwa.
Nimesema jana, kazi yetu sasa ni kukasirisha kasongo.
A man who has no morals, who has no equity, he has nothing in his mind.
Mimi nataka akiongea mambo ya Singapore tunamchekelea.
Sera hata akili.
Despite concerns of society-minded, right-thinking Kenyans, political leaders, particularly President William Ruto and his former deputy Rigathi Gachagua, have persisted on this very embarrassing path of low-grade political discourse. So here is the deal, fellow Kenyans. These leaders deserve to be paid with their own currency. So, Your Excellencies, waheshimiwa, acheni utoto. Take your own advice, and I want to quote you on this. Acheni ujinga.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much, guys, for your greatest support. Now, fellow Kenyans, let me say this. Yesterday night was the News Gang hour. That is, all of course, on Thursdays are normally days of the News Gang. The team that is normally being led by Yvonne Okwara. We normally have Linus Kaikai, we have Sam Gituku, Jamila, and Bonyo. And we missed Yvonne Okwara yesterday night, even though she was not present. But of course, the News Gang had to continue. And a lot of issues happened. A lot of things were talked about by the teams that, or the team that was present. And I want us to discuss them one by one. But before we get into this discussion, fellow Kenyans, of course, we know very well that the whole of this week we've had a lot of insults coming from different leaders. Those are both that are both in government and those who are in opposition. And we know that this is the week of Ramadan. Ramadan inaisha hii wiki. And we'll also have Good Friday and Easter next week. I think next week, but one, yeah. That is on 3rd, 4th, and then 5th. But I've been very much curious about something here. I don't know how it's going to happen, and I don't know how these leaders are going to handle this. Wameshinda wakitusiana sana. Huyu anatusi huyu, huyu anatusi huyu. That is how they've spent, like literally that is how they've spent their week. I've been curious. How are these people going to handle? What are these people going to? Because I know that what attend at the end of Ramadan, alafu attend Good Friday and Easter. What are they going to tell people kwa hizi makanisa na mosques? Because they have to attend, of course, what attend. So after behaving the way they behaved the whole week, kutusiana, kusema wengine sijui ni mamalaya, wengine sijui wanapeana mimba, wengine sijui ni wauaji, wengine sijui wako na ukimwi. After doing all those things, after saying all sorts of things, so you want to tell me that these people bado wataenda kwa makanisa na mosque na waongee na watu? No, let us just be realistic. Tuseme tu ukweli. Na ukweli nyiko hapa ni hii. What are these people going to explain, or what are these people going to tell people when you're kwa mosque na makanisa? Baada ya kuspend hiyo time yote kutusiana. Before we start talking about the News Gang, let me humbly request to fellow Kenyans that if at all you're meeting for the first time, please don't forget to click the subscribe button. You can as well, like you can share, drop me your comment in the comment section. Tell me what you think and where exactly you're watching this video from. If you're in the country, I would request that you can tell me which part of the country you're watching from, county number especially, more specifically. And if you're outside the country, I would request either you tell me the code of the country where you are, or the country's name, or even the flag of the country where you are at the comment section. Thank you very much. Those who are from Canada, those who are watching from Dubai, I really appreciate you guys for your greatest support. I told you that we are planning to do a project, and I think I'm going to visit one of the orphanages probably by the end of this week, or maybe early next week, so that at least we talk to the director, to One, because they had requested me that at least they need support. Umejua hao ni watoto wetu, watoto ambao they have no one to help them. So if we can come together and at least do something for them, it will really be appreciative. So I think that is my plan. I'll tell you how we are going to do it once nikishaenda nika confirm that what they need, what they do, what they need, like what is it that we can do for them. In short, tunaweza wanunulia kama ni chakula, tuwanunulie chakula gani, pengine kama ni vitu vya kulala, manguo. How are we going to go about it? That is the reason why I'm going to attend that orphanage. I talk to the person that manages the orphanage, and then I'll bring the news to you guys so that we can break it down. We see what we can do, and then we give ourselves a grace period of time on how we can help those people. I normally say this, that whenever you help, whatever you give, it doesn't matter hata kama itakuja kwako directly the way you've given it, but in one way or the other it must come out, especially ile kitu ambayo umefanya ukiwa na moyo mzuri, it will eventually come back to. So that is my plan, and I know I've talked about this, but it is the right time. It is now the right time that we really need to do this. So coming next week, probably Sunday, hapo tuseme kuanzia Tuesday, we'll now know that this and this is what we're going to do for these children, and this is what they want, and how we're going to go about it. And of course that one will now need your help guys, so that at least tuungane kile niko nacho kidogo na kile ambacho pia nyinyi mtanisaidia, tuone kile ambacho tutakifanya, and I know that all shall be well. So fellow Kenyans, let's get back to our discussion and talk about the news gang. Kaikai is saying this, that dear leaders, acheni ujinga na utoto. Why is Kaikai talking about this? Kaikai is talking about this because of the insults zenye hao watu wameshinda wakitusiana. Mtu anatusi huyu huku, mtu anatusi huyu huku. So you wonder, are these really leaders that are supposed to lead us? Ama hao watu wametoka wapi? Specifically, what is going on with these people? I want us to listen to Kaikai, fellow Kenyans, and then we continue with the discussion. Can you listen to Kaikai?
Eid Mubarak to my friends, Muslim friends, brothers and sisters. My kicker tonight will be short and straight to the point. And for the intended beneficiaries, that is all our political leaders, let me very reluctantly rely on the unfortunate grammar you are most comfortable with. Just for purposes of sickening but necessary illustration, here is your comfort zone.
Sumeona vile amekonda mpaka masikio inafanya nini? Na bado
nyinyi mumekula mpaka tumbo karibu inapasuka. Mimi sikuli kwa bibi yako.
You cold-blooded murderer, heartless character.
Wewe muongo, wewe mwizi, wewe kasongo,
Wewe mzee, wewe nitakuvua nguo.
Ile Ruto ameanza kupura, zingine anapatia ile mtu anaongea.
Nani akose besi?
analia kama panya imeshikwa na mtego.
Huyu mtu ni mgonjwa.
Nimesema jana, kazi yetu sasa ni kukasirisha kasongo.
A man who has no morals, who has no equity, he has nothing in his mind.
Mimi nataka akiongea mambo ya Singapore tunamchekelea.
Sera hata akili.
Now, despite concerns of society-minded, right-thinking Kenyans, political leaders, particularly President William Ruto and his former deputy Rigathi Gachagua, have persisted on this very embarrassing path of low-grade political discourse. So here is the deal, fellow Kenyans. these leaders deserve to be paid with their own currency. So, Your Excellencies, waheshimiwa, acheni utoto. Take your own advice, and I want to quote you on this. Acheni ujinga.
Now, that is not enough. Kaikai is going ahead and saying that the presidency is a very restricted place. President Ruto, I am sure, knows that it can be very, very lonely. So lonely that you only have your colleagues to talk about. If these clips were shared in the presidential WhatsApp group of the region, how would the regional leaders feel? If it is inappropriate among your peers, then it will not be presidential.
Challenge of security logistics, of keeping this president moving because of the use of the sunroof as the new platform of addressing people. Look at that. It's and maybe Monica, you can give us that image of the rallies today. Look, that is a security nightmare. This is a security nightmare. Actually, there's something less presidential about this image. And you know, there was an incident that we can all refer to, the incident in somewhere in Migori. A shoe actually was hurled in the direction of the president. Why are we doing this to the presidency? Wapi mnahitaji kwa Kiswahili hadhi yake. Even to secure him can be problematic. Presidency is a very, very restricted space. And President Ruto, I'm sure, knows that it can be very, very lonely. It can be lonely, so lonely that you only have your colleagues to talk about. So, lastly, on the point of the advice from Professor Kindiki on whether people are addressing the president appropriately, they need to do just a simple thing. If these clips were shared in the presidential WhatsApp groups
of the world,
no, start with the region. Start with the region. How would the regional leaders feel when they see, and let them watch to the end?
Yeah, with subtitles.
No. This region is
Swahili.
Yes, they cannot.
I think Samia would need no more entertainment. Like, is this what they do there? If it is inappropriate amongst your peers, then it's not presidential.
Yeah.
So it's not your head-to-head with Rigathi Gachagua. It should be your head-to-head with your peers, the other presidents. If you were to put it in the AU group, how will that look?
Endaje.
And maybe pia huko UN inaweza kaje. Yeah.
You know, when you talk about presidential and who to talk to and who to be seen with, also makes me think about responding. How do you respond? Because we have the...
Of course, remember when this issue started, I did a video and I asked this question, that these things that the president is engaging himself in, do you really think that those other presidents from other regions can do it? Hata kama waseme watasikia kile ambacho Rais William Ruto anasema, how will they see him hata akihudhuria mikutano zao? Because, you know, there is a way that somebody can, you can't tell me that the president is going somewhere, anaenda huko vijijini kule ndani alafu is speaking in English, knowing very well that hao wenye wako hapo, they don't understand English. So whenever you see a politician ako kwa vijiji kule ndani, pale ambapo wamama wazee ndio wako, and then the person is talking in English, know very well that the message is not meant for those people. And that is exactly what politicians normally does. Whenever they address now, what they talk about, the message is not for the jurisdiction, the people that surrounds him. The message normally goes specifically to one person or two people that he's targeting. And that is exactly what has been going on all over. So imagine our presidents wengine wasikie kile ambacho Ruto amefanya ama anasema. How will it be? Very miserable. So I really don't know how the president is going to, I don't know how he's going to handle this, or I really don't know how he's going to maneuver through this. But one thing is for sure, that there is problem. The second person, I want us to listen to Jamila. Jamila is talking about kwenda kujisajili kama wapiga kura. And of course, we have to understand that we've reached a point that the only thing that is going to save us as Kenyans is by kicking this government out. And how are we going to do this? We're only going to do this by when we are ready to take kukubali kuchukua kura. Can we listen to Jamila talking?
Hashtag Niko Kadi. For the past few days, this hashtag has been dominating timelines across the country. Niko Kadi is no longer just a trend. It is now a rallying call by young people to register as voters. What started as an online initiative has steadily gained momentum, with young people, especially Gen Zs, showing up at IEBC offices across the country to register as voters for the very first time. And for them, the message is simple. This is how they get a say in the leaders they choose. For a long time, there has been a perception that young people are disengaged, that they complain online, but do not show up where it matters most, at the ballot. But what we are witnessing now seems to challenge that narrative. You see, since the electoral body announced continuous voter registration, the exercise has been largely slow, with very few new voters turning up. But in just the past few days, that momentum has shifted. Thousands of new voters have registered, and the numbers are expected to rise as the message continues to spread across social media platforms, urging more young people to sign up. And what is interesting is how this movement is organizing itself. The rallying call is not just emotional, it is also practical. It includes useful information like what you need to register, where the nearest IEBC office is, and how to go about it. In fact, one question kept coming up. Nitaenda wapi? Wapi ofisi ya IEBC liko karibu? And the answers are right there. Shared, reposted, amplified. And soon we begin to see it. Pictures, videos of queues forming, young people waiting patiently. And then the moment of pride. The voters' cards held up, displayed, and celebrated. Now what started in Nairobi is now slowly snowballing to other parts of the country. How can we do this here? Come with 10 friends who have not registered. Let's do this. And perhaps that is the lesson here. That mobilization does not always need big budgets or millions of shillings or grand campaigns. Sometimes all it takes is a simple message. A message that resonates and that feels authentic. And when that happens, well, people respond. The IEBC now has the responsibility to ensure that this exercise continues smoothly across the country, that those who show up are served efficiently, and that no one is discouraged by long queues or lack of information. In fact, the IEBC can support this moment by putting out clear, accessible information on the what, the where, and the how. Because right now, these young people are doing what the institution itself has struggled to achieve: getting people to register as voters. It is also important, perhaps even necessary, for political leaders to stay out of this. It has started organically. It has grown naturally, and it should be allowed to remain that way. The plan, as these young people say, is to build a 15 million strong voting bloc. A generation that will have a real say in who leads this country and how it is led. And maybe, just maybe, this is what accountability begins to look like. Not in speeches or insults or rallies, but in numbers. So perhaps it is time to sit up, listen, and watch. Because this may not just be a trend. It could very well be a turning point.
I also want us to listen to Kaikai before we finish, Sam Gituku, sorry, before we finish with Bonyo, because I feel like Bonyo Pia is very much interesting. Can we listen to Sam talking about the budget? He's saying that when the budget is not making sense.
Over the last 1 month, the country has been dealing with dozens of emerging issues, some that have turned out to be matters of life and death, like the ongoing heavy rains and the consequential floods. It has been the season of dealing with budget implementation reports, while at the same time processing expensive requests for more resources through supplementary budgets. There has also been so much noise around new laws, new funds like the National Infrastructure Fund and the new Railway Development Levy Fund that has just been created to facilitate borrowing to finance the development of standard gauge railway infrastructure. We have seen it all, from heated exchanges at the Houses of Parliament where members move all manner of points of order to get at each other, as many use the gift of the gab to settle scores. It makes for good humor, but this is no laughing matter. Amidst the drama, serious changes are taking root. We are getting used to new normal. Over the last 1 month, the control of budget has laid it bare how majority of our resources are being used to finance recurrent expenditure, especially salaries and operational costs. How continuously we have reduced the amount of money that goes to development in the counties to currently stand at only 17% by the end of the first 6 months of the financial year in December 2025. At the national level, it is no better. Out of 2.18 trillion shillings spent in the first 6 months of the year, only 12% was spent on development, the rest financed employee benefits and operations. Some of the operations, though, could not even be named as they fall under a broader category called other expenses. A whole 45 billion shillings that could not be assigned a name. The presidency, for instance, spent a significant proportion, even requiring a supplementary budget to raise the other expenses category to 5.9 billion shillings for State House alone, which is 310% jump. And when you ask, you are told that State House is at its most transparent season in the history of Kenya. Well, that may mean many things. Let's leave it for now. Instead, let's take a moment to think and appreciate that at this moment, Parliament is considering a proposal from the national government to raise the current year's budget by 287 billion shillings. Yes, the national government hopes to revise its current year's ministerial budget from 2.54 trillion shillings to 2.83 trillion shillings. Please note, this does not include the county's share of the debt servicing component. While at it, the Kenya Revenue Authority will be required to raise the extra revenue, and should they not, then the government will borrow, whether locally or externally, to finance the additional expenditure. While at it, a Kenyan somewhere has given up on politics, saying, quote, "I don't care about politics." Others are saying, "I no longer watch news." Well, we are largely in a free country and can make the choices we like. Remember though, whether you keep off the news or not, care for politics or not, you will foot the bill of the government. All political policies passed will affect you. All decisions made to the education sector, the health sector, the housing sector, and should I say taxation, will mean that you will have to deal with it. Please note that most of these consequential realities happen in the presence or with the aid of your beloved Member of Parliament, that man or woman you woke up so early to elect. And so, what to do?
The last person is Bonyo. And fellow Kenyans, I would say this. If there is something that is very much interesting in this our country right now, is the way some of our politicians behave. Imagine, like now in this case of Nairobi County, I think for the past 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, we've had issues. Tumekuwa na shida sana na mambo na mvua. Now, kuwa na shida na mambo na mvua, imekuwa to a point that watu wanakosa pahali pa kulala, watu wanakosa vitu vya kukula. People, literally wale ambao vitu vyao vimesombwa, have been struggling. But then the county government of Nairobi, being led by the governor, and then we have got women rep, what they are doing wamebadilika kwa TikTokers and influencers. Now I was shocked when I heard when I saw what Esther Passaris did. By the way, Esther Passaris ameenda ku-advertise mafuta isili. Ameenda ku-advertise mafuta isili. Surely a whole leader what is the problem? What is really the problem with these our politicians? Because I'm failing to understand, when will they take responsibility? Ni siku gani ambayo hawa watu watasema kwamba yenyewe tumekubali kwamba kuna makosa imekuwa ikifanyika, now we want to correct it, and by the way these are the things that we're going to do to make sure that we correct what has been happening.
Residents have suffered deeply over the last 3 weeks. As the rains pounded the city, families lost loved ones. While the official death toll is still being verified, estimates suggest that over 40 people may have died in the city alone. These are not just numbers. They represent families, they are our neighbors and colleagues. Closer home, they are children, men and women whose lives were cut short. But these deaths, we have to admit it, were preventable. What was missing in all this was leadership. Leadership that understands, leadership that feels and cares. We must also agree that Nairobi is not short of leaders. From the county assembly to the Senate to the National Assembly to the county executive, it is fully represented. But in a moment like this, leadership is not about titles. It is about something grand: presence, empathy, and responsibility. In times of crisis, the leadership rulebook demands for sobriety, compassion, and emotional intelligence. For the last 2 weeks, I have been searching for that, looking for that one Nairobi leader who'd rise above politics and show basic courtesy to the residents, not to deflect or justify, but just to lead. But ladies and gentlemen, this is what I found.
We are at the BBS Mall in Eastleigh, and I'm at Abaya Center, first floor. It's an amazing store. You can find almost everything. It's got the abaya, and it's got nighties, and it's got clothes for women, beautiful, comfortable clothes for this weather, perfumes, lotions. I mean, just come to the BBS Mall, be impressed, and shop.
Well, that is Esther Muthoni Passaris, Nairobi's woman representative, a leader elected by the people, entrusted with the legislation, oversight, and representation. Her job is very simple in theory: to make laws that improve the lives of Nairobi residents, hold the government accountable, and speak for the residents of Nairobi. Well, I understand that the role of a member of parliament is taxing and may be intellectually daunting at times. I'm also made to understand that these offices are sufficiently staffed with men and women to stand in the gap of such challenges so that it can work. But in the middle of all this, Esther seems to be in the middle of another crisis. There's a competing role for her attention. She's influencing. Well, we all love a side gig here and there to make an extra coin. But timing is everything, Muthoni. Over 50,000 households in this city are grappling with the aftermath of floods. Families are mourning, and public schools are struggling to function, especially with end-term examinations around the corner. The message coming through is not one of comfort that we need from your office, but that of insecure sense of self-importance. While residents count their losses, you are encouraging them to shop and smell nice, to visit malls and indulge. At a time when Nairobi is literally drowning, leadership appears to be disconnected. This is a tragedy. Leadership is not just about power. It is for emotional intelligence. Read the room, Esther. Understand the pain of city residents. Know when to speak and what to say. Even when you disagree with them, even if it's political rivalry, leadership demands for empathy. In moments like these, the office of the Nairobi Woman Representative should be a place of comfort for grieving families and displaced households and public schools struggling, not a platform that feels out of touch with the reality. Nairobi residents are not asking you for miracles. They're asking for awareness and empathy. They're asking you for leadership that reflects their pain. At the moment, as a leader, you have failed to read the room. You have missed the mark, and that disconnect is very dangerous.
Yesu atukatai imekuwa ikifanyika vibaya, lakini sasa tunataka kurekebisha. this is what you want to do. This is now the direction that we are taking to make sure that things work on well the way we expect them or the way Kenyans expect them to work. When? Who is going to do that? It's very much miserable. Because you can't tell me that now Esther Passaris amebadilika kuwa Passaris na perfume. Surely. Ati Esther Passaris kwanza anaitwa vizuri Esther Muthoni Passaris, Women Rep of Nairobi County. Yani yeye ameona kwamba in the middle of humanitarian crisis, yeye aone kwamba there is another role that she can play as a women rep, so she's competing with us. Zile kazi ambazo tunafaa kufanya kama let's talk about influencers, the job that are supposed to be done by the influencers, so yeye ndiye ameambua ya kwamba anataka kuifanya na anaifanya vizuri kabisa in the midst of crisis. You see, I normally say that Thursdays zinakuwaga siku ambazo lazima ukweli usemwe. Of course, we normally talk about these things from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then now Thursday. So this video, I know those are watching this video, we are watching this video on Friday. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursday, those 3 consecutive days in Kenya, especially on Citizen TV, are normally days zenye mostly huwa nasema kwamba don't ever dare miss. But unless maybe wale wenye wameitwa pengine they are not wale watu wenye unaweza sikia sana, because maybe kuna wale watu ambao pengine wanaweza kuwa interviewed hata when you listen, so what am I hearing? You understand? But then hii news gang nayo huwezi ukamiss. You can't dare miss this, because when you miss this you miss a lot. Huwa nasema hivi, if you miss the Citizen TV news gang, please make sure that you tune to Bonita Media in the morning, so that you hear what has happened through the news gang. And these are the things that William Ruto huwa saa zingine anajua wanakaa chini anasema kwamba mimi kama ningekuwa na uwezo naweza fukuza watu. Nile tu I can't coordinate with the SK Macharia to fight these people because even the things that they're doing, they've been doing it for a very long time. Actually, news gang has been there for a very long time. It's only that asije hapo awali walikuwa wanafanya vitu gani. Saa hizi ndio wanafanya kile ambacho kinastahili, kile ambacho hata Wakenya wanajua kwamba yenyewe now there is a team that is working. But najuaga kama ingekuwa uwezo wa William Ruto, either watu wangeshikwa ama wafutwe kazi. You know, there is this, I don't know, was it alikuwa KTN news journalist, news anchor, Sam Mijungu. I think Mijungu aliendaga, by the way. I've never heard where he went to, but I think he's just somewhere. Alifukua sacked because Mijungu was so much into politics. Like he was ni kama alikuwa na support chama moja na bosses wake wako wanataka hiyo. So that is also one of the things that affected me wakati nilikuwa nafanya kwa media house. You find out that your boss is directing you, anakuambia. I know that sometimes, you know, bosses, tunasema kwamba bosses are supposed to be respected because they're the ones that pay us, but inafika point nyingine unasema no, this one is no. Imagine a point that mtu anakuambia kwamba lazima ufanye hii. Wewe mwenyewe unajua kwamba hii kitu ambaye naambiwa nifanye, like mimi naye my instincts are telling me that this thing is not right. But your boss is forcing you na anakuambia usipofanya hivi wewe jipange. Na ukishajipanga ukaondoka, they are calling you. I won't lie to you. I was called for over and over again, almost 3, 4, 5, 6, almost half an year. Oh, kuja sasa, we'll increase your salary. You know, we know we made a mistake. We never saw what you're doing, which was coming iko mzuri. You know, we just thought that you are doing things venye unataka. Right now is when we are realizing that what you are doing it for the benefit of the company. So you wonder. When I was doing this thing, I was not doing it to benefit me. I was doing it to benefit the company, but you took my effort for granted. So when I walked away and I've started doing my own thing. That is when you're looking for. You understand? So these things are normally there. These issues are normally there, and the only way that we can handle them is by sticking to ourselves. Know who you are. Do your job. So I would like to tell me what you think at the comment section concerning this news gang of yesterday night. Bonyo, Jamila, Sam Gituku, and Kaikai. Please, and always remember to tune in to Bonita Media, being led by Boniface Owino, to get more news any moment you want to get, especially those who love political news.